Today let us start off with the major part of Java, that is Java object oriented programming. Very important, and this may go for 4 to 5 days. And in this Java object oriented programming, we are going to discuss the concepts like we'll try to understand what is the meaning of classes and how to create objects and how to access the members of the class. Then we go for this reference. Then we discuss constructors. Then we go with the static keyword, inheritance, polymorphism, super reference, final keyword, abstract classes, interfaces, abstract classes, interfaces. Then I'll go with this IDE. Here I'll introduce Eclipse. Then we'll go with packages, inner classes. Okay, and we'll even discuss after packages. We'll discuss access modifiers, and we'll go with the elaboration of encapsulation. Because once we know access modifiers, understanding encapsulation will be much more easy. Okay, so these are the concepts we'll be discussing in this object-oriented programming, and it may go for 4 to 5 days for us. Okay, today our objective is to discuss about the meaning of class, object, this keyword, and constructors. That is the objective for today. So let us start off with the first one, a class. Already we know about a class. What is a class? A class is a collection of
objects.
Is a collection of related objects, or we can say a class is a collection of data members and methods. What is a class? A class is a collection of data members and methods. Like an example, how to create a class in Java? We use a keyword class and the name of the class like employee. We go with some data members like int, employee number, string employee name, double employee salary. We go with some methods. Like void set employee details, where we set the values to the data members. We'll see how to write this code. Then we go with one more method, void display employee details, where we write some code to display the value of data members. Okay. Once we create the class with the data members and methods, the next step is to access these members of the class. We need to create the object. To access the members of the class, what we need to do? We need to create the object. So let us see how to create object. Creating objects, or you can see the meaning of object. Let us understand. Hello, Meena. Hello, Meena.
Hello, hi sir. Yeah.
Hi. Just we started with object-oriented programming, and we have just recapped the definition of class, which is a collection of data members and methods. Okay.
Okay.
The object. The meaning of object is like an instance of a class is called as object. One more way of defining. An instance of a class is called as what? Object. Instance means like memory space, a variable name. So if I say class, it's a data type, and object is like a variable. So we are creating instance of your class and the actual memory allocation, that is called as object, real-time entity. Okay. How to create objects in Java is already we know. Creating objects. The syntax of creating object is class name, object name equal to new class name. Class name, then space, object name equal to new class name. As an example, I can say class name as what here? In our case, employee. Then some object name equal to new class name. So in this one, A is an object of class employee. A is what? It's an object of class employee. And this is having a special meaning, which we discussed today. What is this employee in parenthesis? Okay, we'll discuss today what's meaning of this. Okay, then once we create the object of the class, the members of the class are accessed by using object with dot operator. This point is important. The members of the class like the meaning of member means it can be your data members or event methods. So the members of class are accessed using objects with the dot operator. Like an example, you can say A dot employee number equal to some 111. A dot employee name equal to some name. A dot set employee details. Very important one. Remember, A dot set employee details. Never assume that. I'm repeating again. Never assume that whenever I create object, the methods will also get executed automatically. Don't assume that. So when I call the method with object like A dot set employee details, then only it will jump to the method. The code in the method will get executed. Right? Clear? Karthik, Nilima, these all points?
Yes, Raj.
Right? Meena and Shiva?
Yes, sir.
Purti?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now let us understand all these words using a program. And from the program we are going to get a lot of details today. Refer program employee demo.java. Open command prompt and say here notepad employee demo. In this, I am taking a class employee with the data members. Like you can, I can say int employee number, string employee name, and double employee salary. Then we want to set the values to these data members. So for that we go with the method set employee details. Set under employee details where we set the value like employee number equal to 111, employee name equal to some name, employee salary equal to some salary. Okay. When we call set employee details, it will give the value 111 Rajan 80%. We are going with one more method, void display employee details. When we call the method display employee details, we want to display the value of data members like this. System.out.println employee number equal to the value of employee number. System.out.println employee name equal to the value of employee name. System.out.println employee salary equal to the value of employee. So when we call display employee details, it will display the value of data members. Then the next step, to run a Java program, which method we need to include inside the class?
Main method.
Main method, right? We need to include main method. So we can even include main method in employee class. That's not wrong. We are not saying that it's wrong concept. So it's wrong. So we can even include main method in employee class. But according to the good programming practices, we are in something like good programming practices. So it is up to us to follow or not, but suggested to follow the good programming practices. The good programming practice here is the class in which you manage the data. Like in this class, we are having some data members where we are setting the value, displaying and doing some calculations. The class where you do the business logic, the class in which you do the business logic. In that class, try to avoid writing main method. Try to avoid writing main method. Why? Because if I include main method here and some other programmer is going to generate the test class, the main class, that also contains main. So if I give this class to them for testing, this class contains main, that class also contains main, goes with some ambiguities. So for that reason only we suggest not to include main method in the class where we do the logic part, where we do the actual programming. So generally in reality we go with some test classes where we include main method and we give this class object to them and they'll create the object of this class, then access it. Clear everyone? My meaning? Karthik, Nilima?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? Meena, Shiva and Spurti?
Yes, sir.
So for that reason I'm going with a test class employee demo. It's only suggested programming with the main method. So when we run employee demo, it will come to main method. Which takes string as argument. Then in this main method, we create objects of other classes like this. Employee A1 equal to new employee. I'm creating object of class employee. Then we'll call the method A1 dot display employee details. Okay. I'm directly calling which method? A1 dot display employee details. It will jump to this method. Then it will print the value of employee number, name, and salary. So what values it's going to print when I call this method? So what is the output of this program?
Raj, in the class employee, in the method display employee details, can we call directly EMP number from set employee details?
We can call, no issues.
Okay.
We can call. In display employee details, I can even call other methods. The
Okay.
same class methods, no issues, it will work. But here I'm not calling. So what is the output of this?
Error?
Error? Why error? Because I'm just creating object, I'm calling the methods. So no issues. Nothing rule that I have to call every method of the class. So when you take scanner class, are you calling every method of scanner class or the required method only?
The requirement.
Same here. So when I create the object, I can call my own, whichever the method you require. So I'm creating object employee and I'm calling the method display directly. Then what is the value of employee number, name, and salary it's going to print? Just if you recap your Java basics, you can easily answer this question.
0, null, 0, null, and 0, maybe.
Yeah, you are near to the answer. You can say it loudly.
0, null, 0, because only
Zero
the
null.
default value.
Yeah, default values. You have to use the terminology default values. Okay, let me elaborate. So, whenever you create object of the class, so what we are doing? We are creating object of the class. Employee A1 equal to new employee. So, whenever we create object of the class, what will happen? How many data members are there in employee class?
3.
3 data members. So, whenever you create object, then immediately it will allocate memory for your data members. It will allocate memory for what? Your data members. First step. Like it will, and the names are referred with object name E1 dot employee number, E1 dot employee name, and E1 dot employee salary. Then once it allocates memory for data members, the values present in this memory are what? Default values. So employee number is what type of data? Integer. So default value for integer is 0. Right? Then employee name is of type string, reference type. The default value for reference type is what? Null. Then employee salary is of double. The default value of double is what? 0.0. Clear everyone now? Karthik, Nilima?
Yes.
Right? Meena, Shiva and Spurti? The first step? Right?
Yes.
Take it easy. When we are compiling and when we run the program, So it will print what again? Employee number is 0, employee name is null, and salary is 0.0. So this is the first step in object-oriented programming. So these words are very important. So what is the point here? When a new object is created, for a class, understand carefully, when a new object is created for a class, it allocates new memory for all data members of the class. For all data members of the class, and the values in data members are default values. And the values in data members are what? Default values. So let me write once again the default values. So for all integral type like byte, short, int, long, the default value is 0. And for floating types like float, double, the default value is 0.0. And for char it is single space. And for boolean it is false. And for reference type like string, it is null. Okay, clear with this point? Karthik, Nilima?
Yes, Raj.
Right? Meena and Shubha?
Yes, sir.
Meena, clear with this point? Right? Spurti?
Yes, yes.
Right. Spurti, clear with this?
Yes,
Right? So I'll be keep on asking this, remember. Okay. Let me go back to the program, and once I create object, let me call the method a1.setEmployeeDetails. a1.setEmployeeDetails. When I call the method, it will go to the method and it will give the value for employee number, name and salary, 111 Rajan. Now when I call display, it will print these values. So now compile and run. Now the output will be 111 Rajan 80. Okay. Let me create one more object in the class. I am creating one more object. Employee E2 equal to new employee. Then we'll call E2.display employee details again. Okay. When we call this method, what values it's going to display for employee number, name and salary? What values it's going to print together? When we call E2.display employee details.
Again, default values.
Again, default values. Again, what default values? Don't retake 111 Rajan 80,000. 111 Rajan 80,000 is given for even object. And whenever you create object, what I said, it will allocate new memory for your thing. And the values in data members are what? Default values. So never take 111 into E2 object. So it will be 111 Rajan 80,000, that is for even object. 0 null 0.0 is for E2 object. Clear, Karthik, Nilima?
Yes, Raj.
Okay. Meena, Shiva and Spurti?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Let me call set method E2.set employee details. Now, run this code. Now you can get 111 Rajan 80,000, again 111 Rajan 80,000. If you observe here, properly, two objects can take same data, like object means a real-time entity here. Object means what here? A real-time entity, right? So in this one, object means a real-time entity. In this case, both the employees having the same data including employee number. Both the employees are having the same data including employee number.
Yes.
Yes. But is it correct way of writing code in reality?
No.
No. So in this example, in this program, how many objects you create, and when you call set method, it is giving same values to all the data members. It is giving same value to all the objects, not data members, all the objects. Okay, which is not good programming practice. Which is not again good programming practice. Why this problem is? Because of hard-coded data. So giving the values directly to the data members is called as what? Hard-coded data, directly giving the values. So try to avoid using hard-coded data in the programs. Try to avoid using what? Hard-coded data in the programs. Then how to give different values to the data members? Send the data in the form of arguments. That is, when I call even.setEmployee details, pass the data in arguments like this: 111 / 80,000. Now when I say 111 Raja in 80,000, then there should be some variables to store your argument values like this: int envo, string ename, then double sum. Then what will happen here? This 111 will go and store into this envo, Raj will go and store into this ename, and 80,000 will go and store into salary. Then what changes I need to do in this program now? This 111 should be replaced with envo, and this name should be replaced with ename. So this is no more called as hard-coded data now, and this 80,000 should be replaced with salary.
Salary.
Clear with this? How to pass different data to your objects?
Yes.
Right? Then here also, when you call a2.set method, you pass 222 Ramu and 60,000. That's it. So 222 will go and store into envo, Ramu will go and store into ename, and 60,000 will go into salary, which are assigned to the data members. Clear? Karthik, Nilima, how to pass different data to your objects?
Yes, Raj.
Right? Meena, Shiva, and Spurti?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me compile and run this. So 111.80, then 222 Ram and 60. Let us go with one more last point in this program. Whatever the name I'm using for my data member, I want to use the same name for my argument also. Why? Because in reality, we won't be having that much time to think what names I should give for my arguments. What names I should give for arguments. Still, I can use the same names like data members, like this. Employee number here. Employee name, same like data members. And here, employee salary. Then what changes I need to do here? Instead of envo, it has become employee number. Instead of ename, it has become emp name. So here instead of salary, emp salary. Can anyone guess what is the output of this program now? What is the output of this? Is anyone? Will it be same output 111 Rajan 80 and 222 Ram 60 or something else?
Maybe something else. Without.
It will be what? 0 null 0.0.
Okay.
Okay. So what is happening here in this one? When you are passing this 111, this 111 is going and storing into employee number, right? It is coming and storing into employee number. That value you are assigning to employee number, but which employee number? Will it go to data member? No. It will come and store again into your argument only. Local variable.
Okay. Okay.
So it is similar to n equal to n. Similar to what? N equal to n. The value of n you are storing into n only. Same case, employee number is again you are assigning to employee number only. So it is not at all going to the data member. The value is not going to data member because it's a local variable. So when I use employee number here, it will go to its own memory. Then when the data member names and argument names are same, how to differentiate data members and arguments? How to differentiate is by using a keyword called as this.
This data number.
By using a keyword this. This means current object. This means what? Current object. Means if even is calling the set method, then this will be replaced with even. If E2 is calling the set method, then this will be replaced with E2. That's so this means what? The current object. So for data members, we use this keyword. So when to think of this? Only when data member names and argument names are same. In order to differentiate data members and arguments, we use what? This keyword for data. Right? Clear? Karthik Nidima, the use of this keyword?
Yes, Raj.
Right? Meena, Shiva and Spurti?
Yes, sir.
How compliant, right? When Raj 80 and 2 Raman 60. So what is the point here? This keyword. Very important point. We'll be keep on using this one. This refers to the current object. This refers to what here? Current object. This reference is generally used to differentiate the data members of a class and arguments of a method when the names are same. If the names are different, then we need not worry about this keyword. No. So before I go to the next concept, let me ask the question once again. When I create object of a class, what values are given to the data members?
Default values.
Default values. Very good. Default values. Now my objective is, our objective is, when I create object of the class, I want to give my own values to the data members. In this example, you are giving your own values when you call set method. But my objective is, when I create object of the class only, I want to give my own values to the data members. That is possible by using a concept called as constructors. By using which concept? Constructors. Let us understand more. If you take a class sample, we are going with two data members, int I and int j. Int I and int j. Okay. Outside of the class, and we are creating object of the class somewhere. Then now if I call like this, SOP s dot I then space s dot j. Okay. What values it's going to print for I and j?
0,
0.
0.
It's going to print here what? 0, 0. But my objective is, when I create object of the class, I want to make I value as 10 and j value as 20. How to make it possible is, inside the class you write a method whose name is same as class name. Inside the class you create a method whose name is same as the class name, and in this one you can write the code I equal to 10 and j equal to 2. So this method only we call it as what? Constructor. What is a constructor here? It's a method. A constructor is a method whose name is same as the class name. Here, the name here same as class name. It is whose name is same as class name. Used to initialize the object. Initialize the object means giving values to the data members, and no return type for this. We should not use any return type. If I use return type, like void sample, then this will become an ordinary method.
Okay.
It's an ordinary method, not a constructor. No error. It won't go like an error. It will become like an ordinary method, not a constructor. So when constructors are invoked, when you create object, but ordinary methods, you have to call it explicitly using objects, whereas constructors are invoked while creating the object, right? And if you observe here how this is looking, your constructor. So what is this one here? It's a constructor. So that means in Java we create objects using constructors. Java we create objects using what? Constructors. Now what is output now? 10. Right? What is a constructor? A constructor is a special method whose name is same as the class name. A constructor is what again? It is a special method whose name is same as the class name and used to initialize the object. Initialize the object means giving values to the data members and does not return anything, not even void. And does not return anything, not even void. Remember this? Okay. It's a method whose name is same as class name. Use it to initialize the object and it won't return anything back to us, not even void. In Java, objects are created using constructors. Using what? Constructors. Right? Clear? Karthik and Nilima? The meaning of constructor?
Yes.
Right? Meena, Shiva?
Yes, sir.
Right? Spurti? Right?
Sir.
Let us understand with an example code. Refer program constructor demo.java. Open command prompt and say here notepad constructor demo.java. In this one, we are taking a class sum with the two data members int I, int j. I'm going with a constructor where even the constructor can take arguments. Constructor also can take arguments like ordinary numbers. In this one, is the data members and arguments are same? In this one, is the data members and arguments are same?
Yes.
Then how to differentiate?
This data.
This.
Okay, we have to use this. That's it. This dot I equal to I. This dot j equal to j. Now I am creating one more method here. Void display. When we call the method display, we want to display the value of I and j. I equal to the value of I, then space, j equal to the value of j. Let us go with the class constructor demo with main method. Create object of sample. Since constructor is taking arguments, pass that argument. So 10 and 20 will come and store into this ij, which are given to the data members. So if I call the method s1.display, what is output? I equal to 10 and j equal to 20. That is, when I create the object only, I am giving values to the data members. That is the use of constructors. Let me compile and run. So it will print I equal to 10, j equal to 20. Here, Karthik, Nilima, the need of constructors.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Raj.
Right? Meena, Shiva,
Yes, sir.
Purti.
Yes, sir.
Let me go with some important points on constructors. Then confusion one, let's revise it. Points on constructors. Points on constructors. If a class does not contain a constructor, if a class does not contain a constructor, then Java creates a default constructor. If a class does not contain a constructor, Java creates a default constructor. Like an example, if I take a class sample, then if you are not including any constructor inside the class, Java will write this code automatically for you. No arguments, no code, no methods, no code inside. This is called as default constructor. no arguments is called as default constructor, and add it implicitly. Automatically, this part of method is added automatically. So when default constructor is created, when a class does not contain a constructor, Java creates a default constructor for you. Let me elaborate more. If you take this employee class, in this employee class, do you have any constructor?
No.
No constructor. Let us check whether Java has created default constructor or not. How to check here is, you can go to the command prompt and use a command Java ping. Use a command what here? Java ping, and say employee. The class which you want to check. The class which you want to see the profile. So Java ping means what? Java profile, which is used to display the skeleton of the class, like what data members it contains and what methods it contains. Press enter key. Now check it again. Here class employee, which contains employee number, employee name, salary, set employee details and display employee details. And if you observe one more line, that is, so did we write this part of code in class employee? The program?
No.
No.
So this is added by Java for you, and this only we call it as what? Default constructor. This only we call it as default constructor. So when default constructor is created, when a class does not contain constructors, then only Java creates default constructor. Okay, Karthik, Nilima?
Yes, Raj.
Okay, Meena, Shiva, and Spurti?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me come back to our program and let me check how good you have understood this point. Let me create one more object here. Sample S2 equal to new sample. I'm creating one more object what here? Sample S2 equal to new sample. And when I call the method S2.display, what is the value of ing will be?
0, 0.
Let me ask you. Karthik?
Yeah, default values.
Default values. Nilima?
Default values.
Meena?
Default.
Shiva?
Default value.
Default values. Spurti? Right? So can it be 10 and 20?
No.
Can it be 10 and 20? No, never take it, because never take one object data into other object directly until it is assigned. So what is the point we discussed? Whenever you create object, go with the default values only. Okay, go with the default values. That is the first point. Okay, so some people will even answer it as 10, 20. That is wrong, totally wrong. So giving answer 0, 0, something better for this. Something better I'm saying. But 99% of the people will give the answer as what? 0, 0 only for this one. 99% of the people will give it as what? 0, 0 only for this S2.display. Okay, but the actual output is what here? It is a compile time error. It is what here? Compile time error. That's the reason I said this point is important and confusion point for us. So if a class does not contain a constructor, then only Java creates a default constructor. Does our class have a constructor here?
Yes.
Yes.
And will Java create default constructor? No, for us.
No.
No. But I'm creating objects using which constructor here? Default constructor. No, I'm passing,
Okay,
not
we
passing
didn't
any
pass anything. Okay.
right? So you are calling this default constructor, but this default constructor is present in sample class. No, right? So this constructor is not present in our class. So when you call a method, but method is not present, then will it go with error?
Yes.
Right? Karthik, Nilima?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Right? Meena, Shiva, and Spurti?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very, very important. We feel that whatever the program we see there, it is correct and going properly. But if you understand the internal part of Java properly, then you can answer these all questions very easily. Okay, so just revise. Just you require to pull out some 10 to 15 minutes every day. That's enough for me. If you revise the class once again before you join the class, then the things will go very, very smooth for us. Okay. So now, very important point. One more suggestion point only. This constructor, whatever we have created here, this constructor we call it as parameterizer constructor. Or we can even say arguments constructor. Parameterizer constructor, or we can even say what? Arguments constructor. Okay. Very important point. One more. If a class contains parameterizer constructor, if a class contains parameterizer constructor, then it is the responsibility. It is a responsibility of the programmer to create default constructor. So who has to create default constructor? Programmer only. So it is a suggestion point, not a rule. It is only suggestion point, not a rule. Okay. So if a class contains parameterized, then it is the responsibility of the programmer to create default constructor. Why? Because many people are there who are habituated to create objects like this without passing arguments. So we should not go with error. That's the reason we suggest to add even default constructor. No, this is called as default constructor. Okay. If a class contains parameterized, as a programmer you add this one. And adding like this is having lot of advantages, which I discuss more when I come to inheritance. For today, just remember these 2 points, and this second point will become much more valid for you when we discuss the topic inheritance. Okay, Karthik, Nilima?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, Meena, Shiva, and Spurti?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now you can say your output 0, 0. Okay, one line will change your output. Take it. So now it is 10:28. Any questions, anyone?
No.
Right. Let me stop here for today, and I'm going to send one assignment document to you. I'll be sending one assignment document to you. So do that programs. Let me show that document. So this document is complete object-oriented programming assignment. So every day I won't be giving now until I complete as object-oriented programming. So you have to open this document and check to complete the programs. So totally we are having 10 programs in this. Okay. In this one, try to do up to 5th one. Okay, 5 programs. Try to complete up to 5 programs, which is just creating simple class and objects and even constructors. That's it. Okay, so try to complete 5 programs in the assignment. Okay, so I'll be sending this document to you, and the remaining part you can go along with the topic. The 6th program is based on static keyword. Then the next 2 programs are based on inheritance, polymorphism, abstract classes, interfaces, and packages. Okay. Right. And before I close, one more information to you. So tomorrow it will be a holiday for us. Okay. So on account of my brother's daughter's first birthday is there at our hometown. Okay, I'm leaving now. So I thought let me complete your class and leave. So tomorrow we won't be having class. Okay, I'll send a proper mail to your mail address. Okay, everyone?
Okay, sir.
Right? So day after tomorrow again we'll be having the class. Only for tomorrow, no class. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's about for today. Anyone any more questions?
No.
So thank you very much. Thank you all. See you day after tomorrow. And practice all these things and do the assignment. Okay?
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.